Hello folks, welcome to the last chapter of our arrival in Canada. We wanted to start this YouTube channel with you getting to know us. And if you got to this chapter, that's because we did it. Let's see the end of this incomplete puzzle. Let's see the arrival of Ñosta.
Torres, ¿estás preparado para conocer la nieve? No sé si le hará mucha gracia esto.
Slowly, Ivan Torres got used to his new surroundings.
¿Qué pasó? ¿No te gustó?
Well, there were things he just didn't want to get used to. And if he had a hard time relocating to this new reality, of course we did too. But there was something that we definitely could not get used to: the absence of our Ñosta. But it was time to prepare this house to receive Ñosta as she deserves. So folks, here begins the story of how this family's arrival on Canadian lands is completed.
Now, for the start date and time, we don't know yet which ones will be used.
Esto se me está haciendo muy complicado. Realmente entrar a la universidad después de 20 años es duro porque perdí la costumbre, pero que además sea en inglés lo hace muy difícil. Como que estoy todo el rato nervioso con un nudo en la guata, así como de las cosas que tengo que hacer del college y de la vida, porque hay que hacer trámites de un montón de cosas, todo en inglés y como que no se me puede olvidar, y estoy, la verdad es que agotado, y no puedo dormir, me levanto a las 2 de la mañana, después me acuesto a las 4, me levanto a las 6, es que me agota poner tanta tensión, toda mi cabeza puesta para tratar de entender algo y no entenderlo todo. Entonces no es fácil, no es nada fácil.
They have already warned us when we were preparing to come to Canada. The process would be like a roller coaster, with happy days and others not so. But of course, without Ñosta, sometimes the challenges felt impossible to overcome. But just as there are bad days, there are also better ones.
Hoy me toca ir por primera vez al college con estoca presencial. Estoy un poco nervioso por entrar, por no conocer el lugar, todas esas cosas. Pero además, estoy algo preocupado por los 13 grados bajo cero que hay afuera. Tengo que caminar unos 40 minutos. Frío.
In Chile, the truth is that I didn't have many problems with the cold or the rain. I even missed the winters of yesteryear with heavy rains. Walking with 1 or 2 degrees below zero didn't worry me too much. But 13 degrees below zero is, well, cold. But really cold.
Está bien helado, pero abrigado no es tanto. Se aguanta. No sé llegar, sí. Voy a tener que poner ahí algún mapita, porque cacho más o menos cómo llegar. Pero me puedo equivocar. Y no es la idea equivocarse a esta hora y con este frío.
Well, after walking for a while, you start to feel a little stronger.
Tengo un montón de mocos. Se moquea harto caminando en el frío.
And near my destination, I discovered that my legs would feel somewhat numb. But nothing to stop me.
Ya estoy dentro de una tienda gigante. Pregunté ahí dónde está la entrada, me dieron las instrucciones. Estoy tratando de encontrar la puerta 5.
And I found an enormous building, as well as almost endless. Everything perfectly hidden and with lockers, like the ones in the movies. I didn't think about recording the rooms, but in our first face-to-face class, they gave each of us a camera, and well, I recorded them while I watched the weather through the windows that awaited me upon my return. It was hard to imagine that those places would be like in the summer heat. So in fact, it was a couple of months before I found out that there was a lagoon in that place.
Ya tuve mi primera clase. Está súper pesado esto. No me esperaba que me pasaran una cámara y un trípode de esta calidad. Está bastante bueno el equipo y lo puedo tener todo el semestre. Así que me llevo este equipo para la casa, lo que es fantástico. Lo malo es que estoy a 2 kilómetros de la casa, está nevando y está pesado esto. Y hace frío. Pero bueno, cosas del estudiante.
I will have to do this path many times in the future, always carrying the camera and the tripod. But hey, later I would get used to it. Except for the day I had to do it with a temperature record.
Hay 20 grados bajo cero, es impresionante el frío. Me quedan pesadas las pestañas todo el rato, como que se me junta hielo. Se te caen los mocos todo el rato. A la nariz también hay que esconderla.
Chao, que te vaya bien mascarilla, ¿llevas hartas?
Llevo un par. Ya,
Chao, que te vaya fantástico. Saludos. Adiós, Finder. Llevo una caja y puede que sea mi teclado. Porque es del tamaño de un teclado.
And Nyosta, from a distance, when she saw us half down, she sent us a little gift to cheer us up.
Es muy bonito, muy moderno, muy fantástico. También viene con esto, que es la tele. Y eso, amiguitos, estoy sola, así que voy a disfrutar la soledad acá.
As I was saying, immigration is a process of ups and downs, and sometimes you have to do a few things to reverse the low points.
¿Vamos a desayunar a Tim Hortons entonces? ¡Ay, grabaste!
We already imagined how Nyosta would be here, asking for Tim Hortons, sharing with us. Every day it was less until his coming, and we tried to leave the best adventure for his arrival.
Quedan 11 días para partir, así es que estoy empezando a entrar en pánico.
We were very close, so to celebrate, our friends Polly and Rod invited us to a recreational day that started with a very Canadian breakfast and duckling washing. And something a little more risky.
Vamos, vamos, vamos.
That snow hill intimidated us a bit, but hey, we were already there.
No tenías que soltar nunca.
Es menos peligroso de lo que parece.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
¿Estás bien?
Until Polly decided to jump in, and well, it didn't turn out so well.
¿Estás bien?
Result, a great bruise, weeks of pain and even visits to the doctor. But at that moment she stood up, stoically, and continued with our walk. In fact, days later we would find out about the seriousness of the accident. At the end of the tour, it was a bridge quite visited by tourists, since it was used for a movie years ago. This is It, that of the Wicked Clown, the second film adaptation of the novel of the same name by the famous writer Stephen King. The bridge, several parts of the film appear, but now we will discover how the landscape in Canada changed between one season and another.
¿Nos vamos a meter al puente?
Of course, crossing it by car is not enough. Now we will walk through it.
Hace como 1 o 2 años antes de COVID vinimos y había un globo rojo aquí. Nos dio mucha risa.
Estamos adentro del puente de It.
El techo está lleno de telarañas y hace mucho frío, mucho.
Sí.
Mucho.
Es que está la presencia del maligno It, quien nos otorga frío.
Pero no está la presencia, no sé si pasaba por aquí. ¿Tú no viste la película?
No la vi.
And there our friends invited us to walk on the river, activity only recommended in the middle of the winter.
Estamos parados sobre donde pasa un río, solo que está muy congelado. Ahí se ve el hielo.
It is quite difficult to understand that this river and this river are the same. We did not last long there, because the environment was colder than the heart of it. So we began our return. As usual, thank you very much, Polly and Rob, for this wonderful trip. We had avoided talking about the possibility that Nyosta would spend her birthday away from us, and well, that happened.
Año feliz.
We had already had some virtual birthday with all the pandemic phenomena, but we never imagined that one of ours would be in this format. Nor that we would be miles away and in completely opposite season of the year.
Es un calor de mierda. Ahí llegó la camisa.
Pero tarde ya, ¿no?
Sí, pero hacen como 31 grados todavía.
Ah, chupalla.
Oye, así que mañana va al colegio.
Sí.
Qué nervio.
Yes, folks, Mosmi was close to her first day of school and she was quite nervous. But I'll tell you that in a little while. Now the gifts are coming. And of course, we also sent our little gift. When we was in Budapest, Nyosta had a birthday too. There we gave her a charm, an accessory for a Nyosta bracelet. Well, it was time to complete the collection. This time with a Canadian flag. But that was not all.
¿Qué es? No.
Unfortunately, Mosmi could not fully enjoy the moment, as her concern did not allow her to be present in the celebration. When we were in Chile, she seemed excited to attend a school in Canada with classmates from all over the world with unexpected matters. But when she arrived in this country, she began to worry. Especially when we had the first online meetings, so that she could enter the school.
Passport.
Please, passport.
Matilda.
Matilda.
Her fears were becoming more and more real as the conversations progressed. Finally, we had a meeting with the teachers and translator to assess her level of English and decide which course she would enter.
You're doing great. This is a much more difficult reading.
The truth is that everything's turned out great, but when the day came to leave for school, the enthusiasm was gone.
Estoy ya lista para mi primer día de colegio. No, en realidad no estoy mentalmente lista, pero nada que hacerle. Siento miedo porque no sé el idioma y porque siento que no voy a poder relacionarme con gente y cosas así. No sé, me da miedo equivocarme y que me vea feo, no sé. Es muy triste.
The truth is that her fears were completely understandable, but we weren't many options. We were already here and we had to go. Because it was the first day, I went to drop her off at the door in Uber.
No se puede grabar el colegio, está prohibido, así que no vamos a cometer ninguna infracción. Tengo que dejar a Mosni y ahí Mosni después contará su historia.
Then, of course, I returned by bus. The Uber was too expensive.
So, how do you hand something in? So there's a few people that go, oh, I don't know. Ya llegó Mosmi y va a contar cómo le fue en su primer día de clases en Canadá.
Sí, efectivamente volví del colegio, me fue bien, me gustó, entendí más de lo que esperaba, tenía las expectativas muy bajas y pensé que le iba a pasar muy mal y no fue así.
Cuéntales cómo estabas ayer esperando.
Estaba muy nerviosa, no me costó dormir, todas esas cosas que pasan cuando uno se pone nervioso.
¿Y qué ramos tuviste hoy día?
Nutrition and Food, arte, como computación o algo así, y la cuarta hora no sé lo que era.
Algo pasó que no entendiste, porque ¿cómo entráis a una clase y no cacháis qué ramo era?
Capaz que yo sí inglés lo que me tocó.
Ah, puede haber sido.
Claro, tuve que escribir un párrafo sobre un tema.
En fin, dedito para arriba. ¡Pum!
¡Pum! ¡Pum!
Y mañana ya se va en bus Mosmi, entonces ahora estamos caminando para ver el punto donde tiene que tomar el bus. Nos estamos haciendo un reconocimiento para que mañana, porque mañana tiene que ir sola, porque yo tengo que ir a mi college, que queda para otro lado. Yo voy para allá y Mosmi para allá.
The following days, we made some mistakes taking the bus, but finally she managed to go to class in bus alone.
Feliz día de la moñañita. Va a tener que venir a buscar sus regalos acá.
We had to tidy up the home a lot because the two of us didn't make one as our homeowners. Later we would meet again in an online birthday, and of course, we hoped that it would be the last with Nyosta on a screen.
Ñoña, la próxima aquí al lado, ¿ah? Aquí al lado la quiero, ¿ah?
And Canada was beginning to prepare for the arrival of the matriarch, in its own way, of course, just one day before Nyosta's arrival.
Nevó brígido y con un viento extraordinario cambió la escenografía. La semana pasada había habido varios días de calor, 8 grados, se había derretido buena parte de la nieve y para engalanar la llegada de Nyosta se cubrió de blanco todo nuevamente.
Everything looked very nice, but we could not allow that she could not find the entrance to the house, so let's work.
Voy a ir a comprar una silla porque tenemos 2 sillas para 3 personas. Cuando llegue Nyosta vamos a necesitarla, así que voy a ir a comprarla. El día está un poco rígido, hay mucha nieve, la gente todavía no saca la nieve, entonces está un poco dura esta caminata.
This would be the hardest hike since we got to Canada. The weather was really aggressive. There was no point in making such an effort from a chair unless we understood the story behind.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said.
Since the idea of leaving Chile arose, we worked as a team with all the difficulty that appeared, all to earn our place in Canada.
Sometimes you lose.
In symbolic terms, our chair.
Fue como el ajo, lo encontré. Voy a dar una vuelta aquí a ver si en una de esas no encuentro alguna tienda, pero esto no va bien.
When health problem hit us, we thought we were losing our seats. But we got ahead as best we could. The adventure continued, but for the moment, there was only a chair for 2.
Y en todos lados hay nieve acumulada, no han limpiado. Estoy mojado, estoy mojado. Ya tengo que pasar al supermercado porque ñoña quería comer algo rico mañana.
The trip to Canada was not easy without Ñosta. All the paperwork, the fears, the problems were solved with what we had. Then the so empty house reminded us all the time that we weren't all there. Because of those synchronicities of life, the house came with only 2 chairs. And Ivan Torres arrived, completing the emptiness a bit. We were getting closer to being the 4 of us that we always should have been, but we were missing a chair. This is the only way to understand the effort of walking 8 kilometers in a freezing wind in search of such a simple device. Fortunately, our friends Polly and Rob would lend us that chair that we needed to revive our Ñosta.
Hola amiguitos, hoy me voy y tengo una cara de popó y de mucho cansancio porque he estado desde el miércoles haciendo muchos trámites y hoy día pesando, desarmando mi maleta, pesando y ahora ya me rendí. Así como ya a la vida nomás. Es difícil poner toda tu vida en 2 maletas, así es que después ya más ratito me voy a ir al aeropuerto. ¿A dónde vamos a ver?
Al aeropuerto para ir a dejar a la tita para que se vaya a Canadá con su familia.
Immigrants who see this story will understand that when boarding the plane, it is full of 2 sensations.
Al fin mis maletas pude pasarlas y tenían solo un poquito de sobre equipaje, así que ya ahora nos vamos a despedir.
The enormous joy of starting a new adventure, but also the sadness of leaving your loved ones. Sometimes there are decisions that are made without understanding them. Such a Ñosta preferred to pay more money to go in business class. Would seem like a necessary expense. And of course, she needed her chair to be first class.
¿Ya está lista ya para partir?
Sí,
¿De qué siente en este momento?
es muy raro, muy raro.
Ya, ñoña, falta muy poquito para que nos encontremos.
Sí, un abrazo grande, la quiero mucho.
Casi 2 meses estuvimos aquí sin Ñosta.
Cáchense mi entrada, loco.
Tengo un llavero de Chile para ponerlo con las llaves de la casa. Ahí estamos, las llaves de Ñosta, del hogar.
There were only about 10 hours left for this family to finally be reunited. For us, it was time to go to sleep. For Ñosta, it was time to enjoy her chair in business and begin to forget all the pain and anguish of the last few months.
Tengo mucho sueño, estoy muy cansada, pero con mucha energía de ir a buscar a mi mamá. Iván Torres también está a la espera.
Vamos a aterrizar.
Llega a las 5:45 y son las 5:35. Llegan 10 minutos. Nuestros amigos llegan en 10 minutos. Y ahí entre llegar allá y todo el trámite aduanero vamos a tener que esperarla incluso. Porque es lento eso. Actualicé y salió otra hora que son las 5:36 y ya son las 5:39. Por lo tanto, Ñosta Ya debe estar acá. Ya debe estar acá.
Está todo nevadito.
Our friends arrived, and soon after, Gniozda confirmed his arrival. There were about 2 more hours until Gniozda could get off the plane and do all the customs formalities, and from now on, communications would be scarce. It was quite tense, considering that sometimes they even send people back to their countries, because the immigration officer thinks that your entry into the country is not appropriate. We wanted to wait for her where our friends had waited for us, to have the necessary vision to see she while doing the random PCR. There were so many things that could go wrong, and she was so close. Our friends were super confident of the success of the operation, but we were frankly nervous.
Llegó, ya está aquí y parece que ya salió del trámite aduanero. Se viene al encuentro. Está media perdida, sí, no sabemos cómo decirle dónde estamos.
Dile que tiene que estar en el segundo piso. Esa es la C, esta debería ser la D, ¿no?
But we didn't see her coming, and she was lost. This already seemed like a movie. Suddenly, the guard allowed only one to enter, to look for her. I walked corridors and corridors, while trying to communicate with her without success, until the expected meeting occurred. It was time to wrap up a bit and go back to our house. And here we were, all together. The story had been difficult, with many tears shed and others held back to carry on.
My kiss? Gracias!
Now we would have 100 kilometers of travel to take a first look at Canada and start to catch up on so many things that happened.
Yo soy súper gallina para andar en avión, nunca había andado sola. Y el piloto dice, vamos, llegando a Estados Unidos vamos a tener turbulencia porque hay como una tormenta de no sé qué. Y yo así como, mi ñodo, porque ñodo me toma la mano cuando me da miedo.
The time was coming to her to meet with his new home. But not before going to pick up Tim Hortons breakfast.
Ay, pero este pinito, ¿cómo hablas con un gustito? ¿En serio?
Sacude las patitas, entra y deja ahí los zapatos en el...
Me hicieron un cartelito. ¡Qué lindo! Oye, no me lo miras así. ¡Oh, está bacán! ¡Wow!
Y esta cama es enorme, ñondo, ¿por qué no me habías dicho que es enorme?
Ya vamos a tomar los cafés.
Although we talked every day while Nyosta was in Chile, there was a lot to talk about, to see, to share, to enjoy. After our friends left, lunch came. Where we were finally able to make use of the 3 chairs. Then Nyosta fell into a deep sleep. Because the last few days had been so intense, and the rest lasted until the afternoon, then until the night, to just join the next day, along with the arrival of the result of her PCR.
Salí negativa, así que no duré nada, po.
Nosotros nos mandamos 14 días esperando este momento y ella se mandó 1.
Yo quería tener una justificación para no salir ni caminar.
Esta ñoña.
Vamos a pedir un tinjortito, porque hoy día es el día de la familia.
And that was a great synchronicity. We were worried that she would be left alone on her first day, because we had to go to classes with Mosmi, but it turned out to be a holiday.
¡Feliz día de la familia!
What a more appropriate day for this family to enjoy a special day. But not only that, we went for a walk around the neighborhood. And surprise!
No, está pero espectacular y con sol.
A sacar el cuello.
It was the first day since we arrived that we had a really pleasant temperature. For the first time, we could take off our gloves and hats. Spring came to our lives with Nyosta. This is the end of the story. We thank each of you for joining us in these 7 chapters. Here ended this long process to get to Canada, but not this YouTube channel, because it is always time to meet your Latin American neighbor.